My wife decided to take my kids away after she cheated on me with her lover. I'm Tom, 45 years old, working in private fire services in Pennsylvania. I have 2 kids and a life that went off the rails a couple of years ago. Things are stable now, more or less, but sometimes you don't even realize you're back in the middle of something you never asked for. That's why I'm writing this. 2 years ago, my wife Melissa just left. It was a regular morning. The kids were at school. I came home from a night shift, planning to get some sleep. She was sitting at the edge of the bed and said we needed to talk. I thought something was wrong with her mom, who'd been sick at the time. But she said, I met someone else. I'm leaving. No drama, no yelling. I said, what are you talking about? But she was already packing a suitcase. I was in shock. We hadn't even been fighting. Nothing major. I thought she was bluffing. But half an hour later, she closed the door and drove off. She left me with the kids. Sophie was 12, Zach was 9. They didn't get it. I told them Mom went on a work trip, just to buy myself time. I thought she'd come back, realize what she'd done. But weeks went by. Then a month. She sent a postcard with a New Jersey address and wrote that she and this guy needed this time. That was it. No calls, no visits. Sophie cried at night. Zach kept asking what he did wrong. I tried to hold it together, but inside I was falling apart. I started drinking. At first, just beer in the evenings. Then harder stuff. One time on a call I messed up a hydrant connection. We barely put the fire out. Got demoted. I quit shortly after. Couldn't face the guys. Money got tight. We had to sell the house. I rented a trailer on the edge of town. Cramped, but cheap. I didn't hide from the kids that things were bad. I told them straight, this is a hard time. We have to stick together. The hardest part was getting up in the morning. For the kids. Pretending I had things under control. Sophie became distant. Zach got aggressive. I didn't know how to help them. I didn't know how to help myself. One time I got so drunk I passed out on a bench outside a store. Woke up to someone tossing change in a cup nearby. They thought I was homeless. That was rock bottom. Next day, I signed up for a rehab program. 6 weeks. Tough, but I got through it. After that, I started small. Running again. Push-ups in the morning. Job hunting. Found work with a private fire crew, less money, but better hours. Got an old car, started driving the kids to school again. Slowly, I pulled it together. Not all at once, but I moved forward. Most important, I stopped drinking. A year ago I met Ashley at the gym. She's a trainer. At first we just chatted. Then she offered to help with my routine. Saw I was pushing too hard, doing more harm than good. After a few weeks, I realized I missed her if I skipped a day. We started dating. Slowly. I told her up front, I have 2 kids and a ton of baggage. She said, I'm not afraid of baggage. That meant a lot. The kids didn't take to her right away, but they weren't hostile. Ashley didn't try to parent. She was just there. Took Sophie to the movies, played board games with Zach. For the first time in a long time, I felt like we had a real home again. Small, but real. We even started looking for a better place to rent. Things were looking up when, last week, around 7 p.m., someone knocked on the door. I figured it was a neighbor or delivery. Sometimes we hold packages for people. I opened it and froze. Melissa was standing there. The same woman who packed her bags and left 2 years ago. No warning. No apology. Just her, with a bag over her shoulder and a tired face. Hi, Tom, she said like we'd seen each other yesterday. I couldn't say a word. Just stared. Like I was looking at a ghost. Alive, but completely out of place. Everything rushed back: Sophie's tears, Zach's questions, my nights with a bottle, and that voice in my head telling me I screwed everything up. "Can we talk?" she asked. I heard someone behind me shift. Ashley. She'd come into the hallway. She stopped a few steps behind me. Looked at Melissa, then at me. Didn't say a word. Just stood there. My head started buzzing. Not from anger. From overload. I didn't know what to say. What to feel. What to do. So here I am, writing this down. Because I don't know what just happened. Why she came back. What she wants. And what the hell I'm supposed to do now. I don't know how to react when someone disappears during the worst moment of your life, and then comes back once you've finally started to get better. Reddit, I'm lost. If any of you have been through something like this, I'd really appreciate your thoughts. At first, I honestly thought it was a prank. Some kind of twisted joke. She stood there like she had just come back from a regular day at work. Not like someone who disappeared for 2 years and dropped a bomb on her whole family. No apology, no visible shame. Just this weird, blank calmness. She looked tired, older maybe, but still like the same Melissa who used to fold laundry in the living room while yelling at the TV during game shows. She said her boyfriend, the one she left us for, had died of a heart attack a few weeks ago. Just dropped in the hallway, apparently. She said she was with him when it happened. That part she kind of mumbled. Then she said she was broke. No money, no place to live. She'd been staying in a motel until she ran out of cash. Her parents wouldn't take her in. They were disappointed, she said. Said she had nowhere else to go. Then she looked at me and said, "Can I stay here for a bit? Just until I figure things out." I was standing there with my hand still on the doorknob. I didn't move. I didn't know what to say. I think I nodded or shook my head or something, but honestly, I kind of blacked out for a second. Ashley was behind me, just inside the living room. She didn't come up to the door. She just stood still, close enough to hear everything but far enough not to intrude. I could feel her watching the whole time. And I didn't blame her. If roles were reversed, I'd want to see exactly how my partner handled something like this. I glanced back and saw the kids. Sophie had poked her head out from her room. She looked pale, stiff. Zach was behind her, looking confused. Like he didn't know if he should be happy or scared. He hadn't seen her in person in nearly 2 years. I didn't know what he even remembered of her face, besides the photos we never got around to taking down. Melissa followed my eyes, saw them, and gave a little wave. Sophie didn't wave back. Zach looked at me, waiting for a cue. I turned back to Melissa and said, "I can't answer that right now." My voice cracked a little. "I need time." Then I closed the door. I didn't slam it. I just pushed it shut and locked it, slow and quiet. Ashley didn't say anything for a while. She stood there, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the door like it might burst open again. Then she turned and walked back to the kitchen. I stayed in the hallway for maybe a full minute. I could still smell Melissa's perfume, some kind of lavender thing she used to wear. It hit me like a memory I wasn't ready for. I shook it off and followed Ashley. We didn't fight. That surprised me. I expected something, a cold shoulder, and angry, "Are you kidding me?" But Ashley just kept chopping vegetables for dinner like nothing happened. Her hands were steady, but her jaw was tight. I sat down at the table. For a while, the only sound was the knife on the cutting board. Finally, I said, "That was unexpected." Ashley didn't stop what she was doing. "Yeah. She says she has nowhere else to go." Ashley looked at me then. Just looked. Not accusing, not upset. Just quiet. She left, she said after a few seconds. She didn't check on her kids for 2 years. I know. You're not seriously considering letting her stay, are you? I don't know. Okay. That was all she said. She finished chopping, slid everything into a pan, and turned on the stove. Dinner was quiet that night. Zach kept asking if that was really Mom. Sophie didn't speak. Ashley made sure the kids ate, asked them about school, helped with dishes. Like always. I couldn't eat much. My stomach was in knots. That night in bed, Ashley lay next to me but didn't curl up the way she usually does. She stayed on her side, facing the wall. She wasn't angry. Just waiting. I stared at the ceiling for hours. My head was full of questions I couldn't answer. What does she really want? Is she desperate? Is she just trying to land somewhere soft? Or does she actually want to fix things? And what about the kids? Zach seemed curious, even hopeful. He barely remembers the fights, the way she used to disappear for days near the end. But Sophie remembers. I saw it in her face, the mix of anger, fear, and something like betrayal. And then there's me. I've spent the last 2 years rebuilding my life. Brick by brick. I clawed my way out of a pit I thought would kill me. And now that I'm finally steady, she shows up again like none of it ever happened. If I turn her away, do I become the villain? The cold bastard who wouldn't even give the mother of his children a couch to sleep on? But if I let her in even for a night, what does that say to Ashley? To the kids? To myself? Is it compassion, or weakness? It's not like I still loved her. I don't think I do. But I also don't know what's left in me when I look at her. There's a kind of numbness, mixed with dread. Like a part of me that hasn't healed all the way just got torn open again. I didn't fall asleep until almost 4 a.m. And even then, it was shallow, twitchy sleep. I kept dreaming she was still in the house, standing in the kitchen like she never left. In the morning, Ashley made coffee. She passed me a mug without a word. I sipped it and stared out the window. The driveway was empty. But I didn't feel any relief. Just a weight. The next day, I realized I couldn't keep putting it off. I had to talk to the kids. I had to talk to her. I had to set boundaries before everything spiraled into chaos. Because if I waited too long, things would get out of control fast. I started with Sophie. We sat on the porch. I was drinking coffee, and she was flipping her phone in her hands without even looking at the screen. I asked what she thought. She shrugged. Said she didn't know. Then, after a moment, she added, quieter. I'm mad at her. I thought I wasn't anymore, but when I saw her, it all came back. I nodded. That's okay. She didn't explain anything. Just laughed. Like we were garbage. I had no answer to that. Because that's exactly what happened. I just told her that no one was going to force her to talk to her mom if she didn't want to. Sophie nodded again, but I could see it, she wasn't settled. Just tired. Zach was different. He asked if he could talk to her. Asked why she laughed. Said he didn't remember much, but felt like he needed to understand. I didn't try to stop him. I said if it felt important to him, he should do it, but only if he was ready. He nodded and went back to his room. Later that day, I spoke to Melissa. We were in the kitchen. Ashley had gone to the gym, gave us space. I told Melissa she could stay for a week. Just 1 week. In the guest room. And there were strict rules. No expectations. No drama. You don't interfere with my life or my relationship. Understand? She nodded. Thank you, Tom. I just need to get back on my feet. I didn't say anything back. When Ashley came home, I told her the truth. That I'd given Melissa a week. That I'd set clear boundaries. Ashley listened without interrupting. Then she nodded slowly. I respect your decision, she said. But if I feel like she's a threat to me or to the kids, I'll leave. No drama. I'll just go. And I believed her. The first few days, Melissa was quiet. Almost like a ghost. She slept past noon, then sat in the guest room with a book. Sometimes she helped in the kitchen, chopped vegetables, boiled pasta. She spoke politely, softly. Kept her distance. I appreciated it, but I didn't fully trust it. It felt more like a ceasefire than peace. The kids were cautious too. Sophie barely spoke to her. Zach asked her a few neutral questions, like, do you still like mac and cheese? Or do you remember when I fell off my bike when I was 7? Melissa answered gently, no pressure. It seemed like she was trying. After a few days, the house felt quieter. There wasn't tension. It wasn't relaxed, but it wasn't bad. We lived in this in-between state, not arguing, not reconciling. Ashley stayed calm. Didn't act cold, didn't act jealous. She just took a small step back, emotionally. Like she was watching it all from a little distance. That scared me. I caught myself thinking, what if Melissa really has changed? What if this isn't manipulation, or desperation, or some pathetic comeback? What if she truly made a mistake, got lost, and is now trying to stand up again? We've all fallen apart at some point. And if I push her away too quickly, do I become the same kind of cold person I always believed she was? One evening I was out back, sitting alone. Kids were inside watching a movie. Ashley had gone for a run. It was quiet. I suddenly realized how much this all felt like the old days. Nights when Melissa and I would sit on the porch after the kids were in bed, wondering what our future would look like. Back then, we had plans. Now, I had fear. I didn't know what I felt anymore. Not toward her. Not toward Ashley. Not toward myself. Just this numb buzz, like everything I'd built was once again sitting on sand, and I had no idea where to step next. I know I made a decision. But I'm starting to fear I don't understand the consequences of it. A week passed. Exactly 7 days since I let Melissa back into the house she no longer lived in. I knew it would go by quickly, but I didn't expect how fast it would start to unravel. At first, things were manageable. She followed the rules. Kept her distance. Didn't interfere. But on the 7th day, when I sat down with her in the kitchen and told her it was time to start looking for housing, for a job, she snapped. You're kicking me out? She said, voice shaking but loud. I told you this was temporary. Do you even understand how hard this is for me? I have no one. No money. Nowhere to go. I'm your wife. I didn't respond. Just looked at her. She saw I wasn't reacting and pushed further. And her? She tilted her head toward the living room. She just stepped into my life. The kids listened to her. They talked to her. Like I never existed. You gave her everything that used to be mine. I heard the floor creak on the stairs. Ashley. She heard it. An hour later, Ashley's suitcase was packed by the door. She hadn't left, not yet. But she sat on the couch, calm. I'm not giving ultimatums, she said. I just want you to think. Without pressure. I sat down beside her. I don't want you to go. Then decide. The next day, the house felt tense. Sophie stayed in her room all day. That evening, she told me flat out. If Mom stays, I'm going to Grandma's. I asked why. I can't be around her. She lies. Pretends nothing happened. I don't want to live with that. It makes me sick. Zach, on the other hand, was full of questions. Why can't it just be like before? Why is everyone so angry? I had no answer for him. Because there wasn't one. Because even I didn't know what was right anymore. Each evening, I felt it creeping back in, the old anxiety. Like it used to be. Waking up drenched in panic, confused, unsure of where I was or what was happening. Like something pressing on my chest. Fear of opening my eyes. Ashley was still there, but emotionally distant. She didn't intervene. Didn't press. She just waited. And I felt the ground slipping under me. I was stuck. I didn't want to destroy what Ashley and I had built. She came into my life when I was broken. Helped me become myself again. She never asked for anything. Only honesty. But sending the mother of my kids out onto the street, that was hard. Even after everything she did. The thoughts kept spinning. If I make a decision, will I regret it? If I don't, will I lose everyone? I didn't know if there was a right choice at all. Everything felt unstable. Like one wrong step would bring it all down. And just like before, I started waking up at night. Dry mouth. Tight chest. Anxiety with no name. I'd sit in the kitchen, drinking water, staring out the window. The silence in the house was heavy. I thought about how I once had a family. Then darkness. Then a second chance. And now, somehow, it's all back on the edge. And again, I don't know what to do. I woke up before the alarm. Still dark outside. Air in the room felt like basement air, thick, stale, pressing on my chest. I lay still and listened to the fridge humming in the kitchen. No other sounds in the house. That silence told me everything. I got up, pulled on pants, walked to the kitchen. Turned on the light. Harsh and blinding. Made coffee out of habit, not desire. Sat and drank it, staring at nothing. 20 minutes later, I walked down the hall and opened her door. She was still asleep, peaceful like a child. But not my child. Not my anything. I woke her up and said it straight, pack your shit and go. Today. Not later. Not tomorrow. Today. She started whining, nowhere to go, no money, how cruel I was. I didn't respond. I'd heard it all before. She thought she could stall me with pity. She didn't realize I'd run out of pity a long time ago. She threatened court. Said she'd take the kids. That she had rights. I just stood there and stared. Flat. Cold. 2 years of silence. That's not a mistake, that's a decision. She made hers. I made mine. She left with a slammed door and a ragged old duffel. I didn't watch her go. Just cleaned up where she'd touched things. Scrubbed the doorknob twice. That night the house felt hollow. Sophie didn't say anything. Zach walked past without a word. Just looked at me. And in that look, I saw something I didn't expect. Relief. I thought that was it. Done. Over. Wrong. A couple of weeks later, middle of the night, alarm went off. Thud in the kitchen. I was on my feet instantly. Grabbed the bat. Dark everywhere, except the dim streetlight filtering through the blinds. Dead quiet. Kitchen window was open. Lock broken. And there she was. Melissa. Standing inside. Pale, sweaty, wearing some old hoodie. Eyes hollow, twitchy. Reeked of perfume and synthetic chemicals. I knew that smell. I'd smelled it years ago, when I dragged a girl half dead from a bathroom stall at a concert. That kind of smell. Ashley called the cops. They came fast. Took her down hard. She didn't resist. Just screamed that I stole her life, but I ruin everything. The kind of screaming that makes you wonder if there's anything human left inside. I didn't let the kids out of their rooms. Just told them to stay in bed. That it was over. Court was fast. I had everything: documents, statements, proof of care, school letters. She admitted the drug use. Said her boyfriend got her hooked. Said she didn't know how to come back. None of it mattered. Judge gave me full custody. No visitation. Nothing without court permission. A week later she was sentenced: forced entry, restraining order violation, drugs in her system. 3 years. No parole. After that, the house was quiet. Not calm. Just quiet. Sophie barely spoke. Just stared off and drew in her notebooks. Zach got angry, started throwing things, yelling. I got them into therapy. Expensive, sure. But necessary. Ashley laughed. No yelling, no drama. Just said she needed space. I didn't argue. I got it. She came back a week later. Sat down with 2 coffees and didn't say a word. We drank them in silence. That was all I needed. Now we just live. No plans, no fantasies. A quiet house. School, dinner, dishes. Breathing. But some nights I still wake up. Not from nightmares. From silence. That dense, heavy kind that wraps around your neck. And I wonder if I'd kicked her out the first night, would it have been better? Would we have avoided all this? I don't know. And maybe it doesn't matter.